traits that we talked about. And traits, we talked about phenotype and genotype, right? What does the phenotype tell us again?
The traits that are shown physically.
Yep, the ones we can see. And the genotype would tell us what?
Like if we're carrying the recessive gene.
Yeah, it'll tell us what genes we are carrying, because we'll all carry some form of either dominant or recessive or things like that. So we're going to talk today about what kind of traits, some simple traits that we might carry in dominant and recessive, and how they might pair off, okay? So when we're talking about different kinds of traits, one of the easy ones we can do is something like eye color. So for eye color, you could have one of two, let's say, brown eyes would be the dominant trait. The dominant trait is almost always represented by a capital letter. And then we'll say blue eyes would be the recessive trait. And the recessive trait is always almost represented by a lowercase, okay? So this person has what color eyes?
Brown.
Right. But they have one of each trait, right? So they are what we would call this person is what we would call heterozygous. What does that mean? They're heterozygous for eye color.
They are a carrier of the recessive.
Yeah, they're a carrier of a recessive trait that mixed, right? Hetero means mixed. So they've got a dominant and a recessive. They have a mixed trait for eye color. A homozygous, someone who's homozygous for eye color, would be one of these two, right? Homo means the same, so they either have two dominant or two recessive. What color eyes does this person have? And this person? Blue. Okay. But if you're heterozygous, you always have the dominant trait, right? Okay. Do you guys understand this basic stuff for this? Hetero and homozygous? All right, so when we have a fertilized zygote, we're obviously going to be blending these two. So we're blending two parents. So if we want to know the likelihood that our children will have a certain color eye, we can do a very simple Punnett square. Who's done these before? Okay. All right. So let's say that both parents are heterozygous for eye color. Okay. So both parents have what color eyes?
Brown.
Brown. All right. What goes across the top here?
One parent. So capital B and lowercase b.
Okay. One parent up here. And then what goes here? All right, and then we're going to combine them, right? So we've got two capital B's. What goes here? Yep. What goes here? And this one. Okay, so for this child, what are the chances that he or she will have blue eyes?
25%.
Yep, and then what are the chances that he or she will have brown? 75%, right? There's an equal chance that they will have any of these eye colors, right? 25%, or any of these, sorry, genotypes, right? So each of these is a genotype, right? potential genotypes do we have in here?
4. You talking about different genotypes?
How many different genotypes are there?
3.
3, right? What are they?
There's 25% homozygous
For
brown eyes, and then there's 50% heterozygous for brown eyes,
yeah.
and then there's 25% homozygous for blue eyes.
Good. Okay, and now what about potential phenotypes? How many are there?
75% chance for brown eyes and 25% chance for blue eyes.
Right. So there's only 2 potential phenotypes. You're either going to have brown eyes or blue eyes, right? So 75% chance of having brown eyes. Good. When we do the test, we'll do a Punnett square, and then you'll have to tell me just like this. Okay? But our Punnett square is going to be a little harder because we're going to do what's called a dihybrid.
Oh.
So we're going to do 2 traits. So we're going to do that now. It's once you get the hang of it, it's super easy, and it's just like this. It's just getting started. Need a little space here. Okay, and a better marker. So, if we want to talk about 2 traits now, we'll stick with eye color. Okay, so we'll still have our eye color. What's another easy physical trait we can do?
Height. Like tall or short.
Tall or short? We'd have to make 1 dominant and 1 recessive, which is fine. Right, I mean, it is a little more complicated than that, but we can certainly do that. Definitely not going to win any contest for straight line drawing, huh? Okay, so we'll do height and eye color. So we'll say tall is dominant and short is recessive. We'll use H to represent height. How's that? We're all comfortable with this so far? Okay, so we'll say both the parents are heterozygous for both traits. So each parent is going to look like this. BBHH. Do we agree? All right, so now across the top and across the bottom, we have to put the potential for each trait. So if we have 2 parents, well, not really. Then we need to get the potential combinations for each trait. Yeah? With me so far? Do you guys remember doing something called FOIL
Yes.
in math?
Yes.
Okay. So what does that mean?
I don't remember the acronym.
Okay, so FOIL is first, yeah, outside, inner, inside, and last. So when we're combining a dihybrid cross, that's what we're going to do. So the potential combinations are, ready? What's first?
BBHH.
just, yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
Outside,
B, capital B, lowercase b.
wait.
That's so weird.
Because we're doing a homozygous, or a heterozygous, a little confused here. So, we do it one parent at a time, sorry. So we still do foil, but these are considered sort of separate. So I think you said it correctly first. First is B, H. Big B, big H. Usually I have somebody draw this so I can think clearly. Okay, that's first. So then what's outside?
So, big B, lowercase h.
Yep. There we go. Inside?
Lowercase b, big H.
Good. And then outside.
Lowercase b and lowercase h.
So that's one parent, right? Okay. Now, since we're combining the same parent, it's the same thing going down, right? Because the other parent is heterozygous for both traits as well. All right. So once you get this part down, the rest of it is easy because it's just combining the squares again.
But you match the letters, right?
I match the letters up. Yep. All right, so let's do the first one. What is this one going to be?
B, B, H, H.
All caps, right? What about this one?
Big, two big B's,
Yep.
one big H, and one small H.
Good. This one?
One big B, one small B, and two big H's.
And the last one. Yep. Yep. Oops. H and B, if you're not careful, can get complicated. Okay, what's this one?
Two big B's, big H, little H.
You guys are getting this, right? Everybody with me so far? Yeah? Okay. We'll finish this up, and then we'll go through the pheno and genotypes for them. go home and practice this all weekend. Tell everybody what you learned. What's that?
So I might need a couple highlighters when I come before the test.
All right. So this looks fun. So if we want to do the phenotype and genotypes for all these, what are we going to have? What are the possible phenotypes? What could they look like? Well, we could be tall with brown eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we could be tall with what color eyes? Blue. Or we could be short with brown eyes. Or we could be short with blue eyes. Any other phenotypes?
Carriers and having got some.
All right, so let's figure out how many of each of these we can have. So in order to be tall and have brown eyes, what do we need to have? Yep, and that's it, right? So let's count those up. We've got, how many across the top row? 3? No, 4. 4 across the top row. 1, 2 across the second row. Yeah? Okay, so that's 6. 2 across the third row. That's 8. And 1 in the bottom. So we have 9, right? So a 9 in 16 chance of being tall with brown eyes? Yeah? Okay. What about being tall with blue eyes? What do we have to have?
2 little B's.
Yep. And then just 1 big H, right? Okay, so no chance across the top row. No chance across the second. 2 chances in the third. And 1 on the fourth, right? So a 3 in 16 chance of being tall with blue eyes. Good. All right, and what about being short with brown eyes?
So you need 2 little H's.
Yep. And then just 1 big B, right? So any chance across the top?
No.
Nope. How many across the bottom? Second. 2. Zero across the third. And how many on the bottom? Yep. So 3 and 16, right? And then what's the last one? Short with blue eyes.
So everything needs to be lowercase.
All lowercase, right? So how many of those are there? Just 1. Yep. And if we add those totals up, we should get 16 out of 16. And we do. Right? All right, so those are our potential phenotypes. And then we need to count up potential genotypes. So how many of those do we have? Is it hard or is it tedious?
Tedious.
Right?
Is a better word.
Once you get the parental combinations, once you do your FOIL for each parent,
Yeah.
the rest of it is just putting it together, right? So it's tedious and you have to like stay focused on it. But do you guys get what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. We'll do another one next week just to get the combinations up there, get the FOIL part, okay? Because that's the tricky part. And then it's really just counting everything up. Any questions on this stuff? As exciting as it is? Okay, so remember, this is going to be on the test. You'll have to do this, and you have to tell me, you know, I don't know how I'm going to word the questions, but potential phenotype, genotype, that sort of thing. All right? All right, okay, I will see you guys on Monday then.